Wow, guys, that was absolutely insane. Let's talk about why Bitcoin is coming down, what's happening, what you guys can do to make some more money here, because this one was a roller coaster ride. So, first things first, a lot of us hit our stop losses. If you guys have been riding this wave for a while, you guys still made a profit. If you guys opened up trades yesterday or the day before yesterday, you're probably not too happy with where they are at this current time. And we're going to talk about that as well. If you guys want to learn, how to not lose money like this in the future, the one thing that we had been talking about primarily was just this uptrend. Watch out if we'd start breaking down. We broke down, and honestly, we barely had any time as that warning broke down here. It was really about less than an hour, let's just call it about an hour of warning before a larger move came down. So if you guys were like me, eating out with your family or something like that, you had no idea this was going to happen because you didn't have that time where it consolidated after breaking down, It broke down and it absolutely just tumbled. Now, on the other side of this, we've had a crazy wick down. Buyers have come back in again. Until we really see a sustained bearish trend here, I'm not going to be so critical of Bitcoin. The one thing here in hindsight is that we did have one of those crossovers on the stochastic. We did not have it on the MACD here on the daily chart, so I was maybe hoping we might be able to survive this. On the 4-hour chart, things were definitely a lot more ugly. Those stochastics and the MACD were definitely not going in the right direction. However, up until the crash, I want to say about 8 hours beforehand, we still had an opportunity for that MACD to turn around. It did not happen. At this point, I don't know if it was some type of news event that caused Bitcoin to come down, but from what I'm looking at, it looks like a technical thing where we ended up breaking down below support, and shorts found that as an opening to really dump and unleash on a bunch of longs here, a bunch of bulls. That triggered a lot of liquidations, and I mean a lot. Now, most of you guys hopefully didn't lose too much money. What I'm doing right now is my typical thing. Once we start breaking above the 20 moving average on the 15-minute chart after a crash, I typically go long. So I just went long here. I don't have a long, crazy price target. It's kind of around 42,500 to 42,700, and I'm going to see which way we go after that and if I want to make another trade or not. But this is just in my normal bread and butter play, especially since the MACD is crossing over and we saw the stochastic crossover way back over here after having that big plunge and kind of bouncing off that 20-day moving average. The big thing here is this. I'm going to open up a new window. Let's just go over here where there's nothing on it. And I want you guys just to relax a little bit. Bitcoin is still going on a very nice trend. Even because of this drop off here, we're still looking at some nice moves happening over the next few weeks as long as those buyers continue to come back. We haven't had a dip so bad over the past few weeks, but the closest thing to this was one of the dips we saw over here where within like a few days we were whiplashing a couple $1,000 up, a couple $1,000 down. This one was a lot more extreme, and because of that, I'm going to tell you guys to pick your battles and probably just wait for a consolidation to happen, then a breakout, and then ride that breakout to get some really nice profits. If you guys are trying to be more aggressive, this is what you guys are going to have to focus on. And it really comes back down to the weekly charts. What you guys are going to be looking for now are your decent Fibonacci levels, nothing crazy here. We're not going to try to make something up. Where you have that level of support all the way back down here around 37,800, that actually matches up right here, as you guys know, where we stayed for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before eventually breaking out. On the other hand here, one of the things I like to do is go over here to the settings and turn the fib levels based on log scale. It'll just move everything down just a little bit more. If you guys are a little bit more passive or just a little bit more concerned, you guys could have that stop loss or see those support levels move down to 34,676. For now, I like that the actual Fibonacci level on the first one matches up pretty well with those old resistance levels. So that's what I'm going to be looking for at this point in time. Now, that's if you guys want to be aggressive and you guys are going to be waiting for a big opportunity to buy another dip and come back up. If you guys are looking for something more extremely short term, you're not going to be looking at that larger term trend. You guys are just going to be looking at this small trend right here. And this one is pretty darn close to where we currently are. Let me go over here to the 15-minute chart. And you guys can see we came very close to it. The reason I like this right now is because if I add the SMA on here, which is just some simple moving average, and I plop on the 20-day moving, and I want this to be the daily chart, it's pretty much in line with where it is right now. So I think pretty soon you guys are going to be looking for a lot of volatility, because one of two things is about to happen. We're about to have a massive bounce off of the 20-day moving average again, which we've had a few times during this cycle, or we're going to have a massive crash back down to the extra level of support I was just talking to you guys about before, around that $37,000 mark. At this point, I would say 15-minute chart and the hourly charts are going to be your friend. Usually when it comes to these situations, oscillators are going to be your best friend. So at this point, if you want to be watching the 1 hour chart and watching those oscillators, they seem to be giving you guys ample opportunities. I'm going to wait for a change of character, the MACD crossover, and I'm going to be waiting for the stochastic to all give me green signs before I buy in here. The only way I'm buying right now is because of that typical, every time we have a crash, I buy once we get close to the 20 moving average on the 15-minute chart, and I will do a day trade up with a high leverage to see how much money I can make. It's worked not every single time. It works the majority of the time here. So here's a good example. Again, it has to be a major crash. Crash happened, you buy right here, and it soars up a little bit. Again, sometimes it goes back up all the way to the top. I'm not expecting that. I'm trading it from here to around there, and that's my way. You can see over here, same concept happened, except for the 20 moving average, which is too far away, so normally you don't take it. It ended up working, but it's not something that I look forward to. Usually when we have these big crashes, it's something more like this. Crash, break above, and we go up for a little bit, not all the way back up sometimes, but it ends up working out very well. So here's a few things just so you know, because I know this is going to be a lot of your stop losses hit. A lot of you guys are going to be waiting for new positions. Bitcoin right now, not really the place to be frank. Your longs are fine if you have, if you're thinking very, very long term. But right now, things like Dogecoin, I'll go to the daily chart, Ethereum, they're all going to be testing out levels of support. If we get back down to those levels of support, that's where you're going to feel the most comfortable buying in. But honestly, for a lot of these altcoins, we've actually already tapped on those levels of support. So if you miss that opportunity, I would not recommend chasing it, because if we do come back down again to those levels of support, most likely we're going to be breaking down again, which won't be a disaster, but it'll feel like a disaster, especially if you guys are holding anything with leverage. Go back over here to ADA. There are things like this that are a little bit further away from those larger levels of support. But honestly, when you see something dump like that, those support levels are flushed out. You see the stochastic crossing over. MACD still looks okay. 4 hour chart's going to give you a lot more negative chart here. And of course, we've broken down below the 20. Bonk, still doing okay. Going into more of a downtrend though, so I'm not going to recommend holding this until we actually have a breakout. I told you guys to buy down here. It popped up another 30-40%. If you guys took that, awesome. But the majority of things here, they've come down pretty fast. XRP is a good example here. Ape token, remember I told you guys I sold it right here at 184. In hindsight, it was a good idea, but I was not expecting this massive drop to come out of nowhere here. I was expecting us to hold the consolidation, then break out. We did not hold, and of course we had that massive breakdown. There are a few things still looking okay, but I'm waiting for things to come back down naturally a little bit more before buying back in. That's an aggressive side. I would still say if you guys are newer to trading and you're just waiting for some easier profits to come out of this, wait for the consolidation, wait for the next breakout, and you'll be good to go. I'm hoping that we don't have some type of crazy bullish move coming back up tomorrow, because a lot of you guys will have missed that opportunity to buy in. But in case you guys still are looking for opportunities, really, you're going to have to look at that 15-minute chart and the hourly chart, and you guys can't focus too much on the daily just now. I know it sucks, but that's the way we're looking at it at this point in time. Everything has had a pretty nasty move. We have new patterns evolving, so once we have those breakouts after consolidation, I think you guys are going to be fine. But most oscillators say, hey, Bitcoin needs to come down a little bit more. The only reason that or crypto in general has to come down more. The only reason I'm hesitant is because we've been in this situation before. If whales come in to smash the bears again, technicals are not going to be a factor there, and we're just going to have to deal with it. But if you guys want to have those slow, consistent gains that make you money over time, I'm going to be holding off the majority of my gunpowder until I see those consolidations. This spooked me enough where personally, I'm not going to be so aggressive. I'm just going to be patiently waiting for those consolidation and the breakouts, and that's what I would say the majority of you guys are probably going to want to do. If you guys want to have those high risk plays, by all means, just wait for those support levels to hit or wait for a smaller breakout to hit maybe on a change of character. And then I think you guys should be fine for day trades. Swing trades, again, just be very, very careful because this flush out, again, it's going to mess with the minds of people. And we talked about this possibly this rally getting closer to an end, and maybe we're talking about 40,000, or excuse me, 48,000, 50,000, 52,000, whatever. If it ends at 44,000 or 45,000, that was still a good level to get to. But let's just wait and see the next few days. Consolidation, wait for the breakout and see what happens next. If there is no consolidation, or if there is no breakout over the next few days, we can go through another breakdown, then of course that means we might be looking at something of a multi-week consolidation, which brings Bitcoin down maybe $2,000 to $3,000 more, which of course will piss everybody off, but it'll give you an ample opportunity to buy. And everybody's been asking for the last few weeks, what's the best price to be buying in? Usually it's during these crash moments because it gives everybody an opportunity to buy in again before we hear about what's going to be happening with these Bitcoin spot ETFs coming out from the SEC. That's the only real reason I'd still be going long at this point, because Bitcoin, of course, has been booming up the last few weeks. It's okay if it comes down a 10. Thanks, everybody.